Okay, we're going to continue looking at calculations and we're going to have a look at empirical formula. Okay, so on the left here, I have written out some chemical formula. And the way I've written it is what's called the molecular formula. And the reason I call this the molecular formula is because it tells me exactly how many atoms I have got. So H2O2 tells me I've got 2 hydrogens and 2 oxygens. C6H12O6 tells me I've got 6 carbons, 12 hydrogens and 6 oxygens. C4H10, 4 carbons, 10 hydrogens. This is the molecular formula because it tells me exactly how many atoms I have got in a molecule. If I want the empirical formula, then what I need is the simplest whole number ratio. And to get that, I look at the molecular formula and I see if there's any number that will divide evenly the whole way across. I've got H2O2, the number 2 will divide evenly the whole way across. So if I divide H2O2 by 2, I'm left with HO, and that is my empirical formula. If I have a look at the next one, C6H12O6, the number 6 will divide evenly across. And when I divide by 6, 6 divided by 6 is 1, 12 divided by 6 is 2, 6 divided by 6 is 1, I'm left with CH2O. The next one, C4H10, the biggest number that will divide evenly across is again 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2, which gives me C2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So C2H5 is my empirical formula. I'm going to do one more and then I'm going to get you to do the rest. C5H10. What's the biggest number that divides evenly? The biggest number is 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 10 divided by 5 is 2. Okay, so you just need the biggest number that will divide evenly across. Divide each number by that number and write the new formula. So 6 divided by 6 here is 1, so I don't need to include that 1. 12 divided by 6 is 2, I do need to include the 2. And then 6 divided by 6 is again 1, I don't need to include the 1. Press pause, do the next 3 for yourself, and then press play. Okay, so going through the answers. This one, the biggest number that will divide in evenly is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 14 divided by 2 is 7, so C3H7. The next one, I've got the numbers 3, 6, and 2. There are no numbers that will divide in evenly, okay? 2 will not divide evenly into 3. It will divide into 6 and it will divide into 2, but it won't divide evenly into 3. Okay, and similarly 3 will divide into itself and it will divide into 6, but it won't divide into 2. So there's no number that will divide evenly the whole way across. And if there's no number that divides evenly, then my empirical formula is the same as my molecular formula, and it's C3H6O2. The last one, I've got the numbers 6, 12, and 2. 2 will divide evenly into all 3 numbers. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 12 divided by 2 is 6. And then 2 divided by 2 is 1. And I don't need to include the 1. Okay, so that's the empirical formula. You'll be given molecular formula, just like I've given you here, and asked to write empirical formula. You need the biggest number that will divide evenly into every number that you're given in the formula. Then you write it out as a new formula, okay? And that is called empirical formula. If you were asked to write the empirical formula, that is what you are being asked to do. Okay, so the last type of calculation question we're going to look at is calculating concentration. And you can split these calculations into 2 steps. In the first step, you will take the volume in centimeters cubed and you will divide by 1000 to get the volume in decimeters cubed. You'll always be given your volume in centimeters cubed. You take that number, you divide by 1000 on your calculator, and you get the answer in decimeters cubed. That gets you 1 mark. Once you have your volume in decimeters cubed, you then take the mass, which you will be given in the question, and you divide the mass by the volume when it is in decimeters cubed. It's 2 steps. for 2 marks. I'm going to give you an example of what a question like that would look like. Okay, and I'm on your revision guide, and I'm on page 20. And it is example number 5. And it tells you that 90 grams of lithium chloride is dissolved in 780 centimeters cubed of water. And they want to know what is the concentration. Your first step is to take the volume in centimeters cubed and divide by 1000. So the number that comes in front of cm cubed, you divide by 1000. So 780 divided by 1000 is 0.78. That is step 1. Step 2, you take the mass, so the number in front of the g, and you divide by your 0.78. So it's going to be 90 divided by 0.78, and then your answer gets you your second mark. So 2 steps. The first step, you take the number in front of the cm cubed and you divide by 1000. Then you take the mass, which you're given in the question, and you divide that by your 0.78. So a few examples of questions here on the next page. Questions 16, 17, 18. 16, 17, and 18 are all examples of this type of question. I'm going to do 16 with you and then ask you to do 17 and 18 for yourself. So if I look at 16, it says a teacher dissolved 50 grams of potassium chloride in 100 centimeters cubed of water. What is the concentration? Okay, my first step is to take the number in front of cm cubed and divide by 1000. So I'm going to do 100 divide by 1000, and I'm going to get 0.01. No, I'm just going to get 0.1. Okay, so you take whatever number is in front of cm cubed, you divide by 1000, that is your first mark. Then you take the other number in the question, which is a number in front of g, in this case is 50, and you divide that by the 0.1 that you've just calculated. So 50 divided by 0.1 is 500. That is your final answer. Have a go at 18 and 19 for yourself. Sorry, have a go at 17 and 18 for yourself. So you take the number in front of the cm cubed, you divide by 1000, then you take the other number in the question and you divide by your answer. Okay, have a go at 17 and 18, press pause and then press play when you're ready to continue. Okay, so if we go through the answer, in question 17, the number in front of the cm cubed is 347. So I take that 347, I divide by 1000 and I get 0.347. Then I take the mass, which is the number in front of the g, and I do 250 divided by 0.347. Gives me an answer of 720. Number 18, the number in front of the cm cubed is 600. 600 divided by 1000 is 0.6. I take the other number in the question, the number in front of the g, and I do 25 divided by my 0.6 equals 41.6. Okay, that's all you have to do with those questions. 2 steps for 2 marks. Take the number in front of the cm cubed, divide by 1000. That's mark 1. Take the other number from the question, which will be in front of a g. Take that number and divide by your answer to part 1, and you will get your final answer and you will get your 2 marks.